Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Suratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. We have offered with grateful pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan the Nama lotuses, and before we submit our today's prayer, we shall live through an experience of being with Bhagwan at Sanadi Street House, traveling backward in time 40 years, 30, 35, 40 years is so easy when we do it mentally. And when we go back to a particular memory and live through it, the past becomes present. And when we think of something in future, the future becomes present. Whatever thoughts you bring to your mind at this moment, that becomes present because you are present in it. And the memory becomes a living experience now. Let's go back to the late 70s, early 80s. Agaram Jayaraman has given a very detailed diary of whatever Bhagwan spoke, whatever Bhagwan did, in a very endearing manner. We owe it to him for this grand treasure. It gives me endless happiness when I go through that. It's like reliving with Bhagwan in Sanadi Street House, especially when he was like fire. Let's now shift to a scene there. Bhagwan was sitting with some of the devotees. Shri Ramanujachari, Agaram Jayaraman, R.K. Alvar, and a few others. They had just come after attending Rama Pattabhishekam, the coronation of Rama. which was done in a grand manner in Trichy. And after the function was over, Agaram Jayaraman had taken one mala from the photo of Shri Rama. And then Mantrakshita, some 9 photos of Rama Pattabhishekam, and a mango from a garden of mangoes. The mango grove of Tatacharya is very famous. So he brought one mango from there. So as soon as they stepped into Sannadhi Street house, they offered it to Bhagwan. Bhagwan touched them all, blessed them nicely, then gave all of them to Sri Ramanujacharya. He was in a very high post in Neyveli. After that, Bhagwan took this mango in hand. He just looked at it, he rolled it in his hand, looked at it from different sides, and then started to say, just looking at it, can you find out whether it is ripe or unripe? It looks green. It could be an unripe mango. It would be sour. If it's a ripe mango, it will be very sweet. But how can you find out just looking at it? And then he himself said, it is a ripe mango. Its pulp will be sweet. And then he said, how can you look at a man and decide whether he is a sadhu or an ordinary man? Some people look like a sage, they look like a jnani and a great bhakta, but they would be doing something else, not known to people. Some people look very ordinary, very insignificant, and yet their heart would be filled with God, and they would be engaging themselves in service to Father all the time, in deep and dedicated service to the Divine. One cannot judge anything by an appearance. And then he went on to say, how could people know what this beggar is doing? How could people know what this beggar has done all these years? How could people know what this beggar is going to do in future? It is very difficult to understand. Sometimes when this beggar does some work for a family, something nice happens to their satisfaction, and then they celebrate this grace and they praise this beggar. Sometimes things may get delayed because of the very structure of the cosmos. Everything is linked with every other thing, and therefore sometimes new complications would develop and it would delay the process. But then people will not have patience, and then they will start abusing this beggar. Oh, I went to this beggar and nothing has happened. He doesn't care. He has no power, this and that. How could people know the role of this beggar in this world? And then he said, people will understand after some time what this beggar has done. It takes time. They don't have the special divine eyes to see what this beggar is doing for the whole humanity. It is all hidden. Meeting people and blessing them is only a small fraction of this beggar's hidden work of Father. Do not judge things and people by their appearance. And then Bhagwan called Agaram Jayaraman to come and sit by his side. He returned the mango to Shri Ramanujachari and said, the other things you can do what you like, but give this mango to Srimati Lalita, your wife. After taking this mango, she will sing songs, he declared. Now when Jayaraman came and sat next to him, it was right straight in view of the outside of the house, and the car was parked there. The car by which these people came to Sanai Street House from Trichy. They had taken a mala from the Pattabhishekam photo of Rama and put it on the car. Now a cow was seen happily eating it up. Bhagwan just looked at it happily. There was such a tender and happy expression on his face, looking at the cow eating away the mala from Rama's picture. And then said, Jayarama, do you see that? See how the cow is enjoying the mala. Here Jayaraman was thinking, my God, that's a mala from Rama's photograph, and this cow is eating it up. Bhagwan's face became radiant, and then he said, Jayarama, do you know, in Ramayana, Rama is the very embodiment of dharma. When he became the king, he ruled the kingdom, Ayodhya. It was a righteous rule. All the virtues were protected. The Brahmins and the cows especially were well respected and given their due. You see, Rama rejoiced in giving, in respecting, in honoring the Vedic Brahmins and the cows. And you see now what is happening? The mala that you took away from Shri Rama's photograph is now on your car, and suddenly this cow has appeared there and it is enjoying the mala. It reminds me of that scene in Ramayana. And then Bhagwan's face, the countenance was a sight for all to see, sight for the gods. He looked so tender, so loving, and so happy. This is how Rama, Shri Rama himself should have looked when he fed the cows, when he honored the Vedic Brahmins. It was just that look on Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan. The people who were there, they had this great golden opportunity, the fortune of seeing Shri Rama there, sitting and enjoying the scene. Just think for a moment, it was an ordinary scene you see often in the streets. A stray cow comes and eats up the mala. What would be our reaction? We would say, oh, that mala is from God, from Rama's photograph. We have put it on the car for its blessing, and see what this cow is doing now. You would get angry with the cow because it's eating up. You would chase it away. Or you simply walk away because you are so much used to these scenes. Never would we think, even in the wildest dreams of ours, the cow is enjoying it. The heart will go out to the cow. If you were Rama, if you are Yogi Ramsuratkumar, if we are ourselves, the ordinary selves as we are, it just wouldn't matter to us. It would be nothing to us. We might chase it away. So you see how deep, how penetrating is the vision of Bhagwan, how he interprets the scene that happened in front of him. What depth! He brought out Shri Rama's Darbar, Shri Rama's Ramarajya, and spoke in praise of his Dharma. Everything that is created is supposed to remind us of the Creator behind it. Everything is only God's glory. But we get more often lost in the beauty of the world and forget the Creator behind it. Bhagwan once said, the closer you are to God, the higher would be your interpretation of any happening. I remember a story, a hilarious story, but it has a moral. A man was lying down on the side of the road. He has his eyes closed and he was lying down without any movement. Now one man came. He thought this man was sleeping and that he was sleeping on the roadside. Another man came and he thought this man was drunk. And all that he could think of, what kind of liquor that he has drunk, that he is completely lost. And a third man came and he thought this man was hurt and he had fainted. So he became busy trying to arrange for help to take him to the hospital. A Mahatma came and he thought, oh, he is probably in deep samadhi. When would I get this kind of samadhi? Just see, he is so still, there is no movement. He could have been in samadhi. And then his longing for samadhi deepened, sharpened. So each one, according to their experiences, according to the nature, their nature and their experiences and their intelligence, interpreted the same scene in different ways. So any scene is open to interpretations. The higher the interpretation that you put upon any happening, the closer you are to God. Please know that. This is what Bhagwan said. And Bhagwan demonstrated when he looked at the cow, an ordinary happening to every other eye, but Bhagwan remembered Shri Rama, Shri Ramarajya, and how he honored the cows, the Vedic Brahmins, and the spirit is carried down over ages, now thousands of years, and the spirit is still working. Even now, a cow chooses to come to the mala from Rama's photograph and enjoys eating it. So Rama is feeding the cow even now, all the way from Trichy to Tiruvannamalai. He has sent the mala for this cow. So let us remember Bhagwan's declaration saying, the higher the interpretation you put upon any happening, the closer you are to God. Or the reverse is, the closer you are to God, the higher would be your interpretation upon any happening. And the highest interpretation is to be able to see only His grace in everything, only His will, only His presence, only His grace in everything. So let's all pray to Bhagwan for this preparation of mind, to be able to accept everything as God's grace, no matter how difficult it is while it's happening, and offer our today's prayers at His feet. Bhagwan, cast your compassionate glance upon the whole world. One look from you, one word from you. Thou art the cosmic controller. It is by Thy will that the world is today what it is. Just one compassionate glance, one generous glance from you would set right the whole situation. We beg you, Bhagwan, again and again, with all our heart and soul, that you intervene and free the entire humanity from the dreadful grip of this virulent virus and bring back a normalcy to the world based upon dharma. And Bhagwan kindly uproot the panic from the hearts of people and all the negative emotions. Arrest the spread of the diseases. Enter the medicine so that it would kill the viruses once for all. And all those great tapaswins who are laboring hard day and night, fighting the disease for the sake of the others, please give them protection and all-round well-being. And we beg you for a boost to economy and your support to all the measures. And above all, again and again, every day, we are praying and we will continue to pray for constant remembrance of your name. And we beg you to make us fine instruments in your hands, so that we go about everyday life, wherever we are, whatever we are doing, we should be able to offer it at your feet with gratitude. And above all, Bhagwan, please bless us so that we would be able to see every happening in life, every happening in everybody's life, including ours, only as your Ashirvad, as your grace, as your blessing. And let us learn to think high and give only high interpretation, a higher interpretation to every happening around. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.